Hello and welcome to Pisces Moon Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Kate Leonard, and I'm excited to explore the stars with you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the week of October 19th through October 25th. And oh my goodness, I know I say it all the time, but this is another really, really big week. We've got Mercury taking center stage this week. I mean, he comes in on the 19th and he is active and doing stuff really for the rest of the month, but, definitely throughout this week. So I don't have to say it. We all know this. This is our thinking, our intellect, our communication. And remember, it's all forms of communication. Mercury rules speech, writing, everything we do to communicate. When our minds are involved, it's pretty much important to all people, right? But it's very, very important to anyone who communicates for a living, you writers out there, content creators, all of that. Mercury is really your planet. So, again, none of us don't communicate, even if we're introverted. You're talking to yourself inside your head, right? The other thing that Mercury does is he's all about short distance travel. So Mercury's not so much about, going off to see the pyramids or whatever one does, but lots of comings and goings this week, right? So get ready for, on top of everything else, just a really, really busy week. Mercury rules Gemini. Yeah. So he's got a lot to do with social interactions. So this is a very good week for making the dinner dates, the lunch dates, the coffee get-togethers, whatever it is. This is a really lovely week for all of that as well. And for those of you who are like, wait, what about Venus from last week? I'm all about relationships. Yeah, you know what, you guys? That is all still going on. That grand trine that involved Venus, Uranus, and Pluto, that empowered, quirky love thing, that trine is still there. It's not as strong as Venus is sort of moving out of those relationships, those exact trines, but it's still going on. So for those of you who are playing out love stories, friendship stories, family stories, whatever from last week, some of this communication and, socializing and all of that, that may have to do with those relationships because that stuff's still happening. And this week we just add another grand trine because we're going to focus mostly this week on Mercury making a trine to Jupiter, making a trine to the North Node of Destiny. And when the North Node is involved, this is stuff that is big, big, big. So let's get into it. Now, before I do, is there anything else going on that you need to know about this week? We've got Neptune still retrograde. He's going to join Saturn in Pisces. That's going to be to finish up that story. We're still looking at our boundaries, what needs to be rebuilt. The other thing that happens, we've got the sun moving into Scorpio. Both of those things happen on the 22nd. Oh, and because I don't focus on lunations so much, I almost overlooked the fact that on the 21st, we have got a new moon in Libra. How could I overlook that one? I know you guys would choke me out on that, wouldn't you? Um, all you people who are kind of relationship focused right now, because we've been going through all that Venus stuff, this is your new moon. This is a new moon with Venus in Libra. This is new beginnings, new love. Wow. I know you're saying now, I hear you. I can hear a couple of my clients and friends right now going, we've got a new moon in Libra, and you're not focusing the episode on that. Are you out of your mind? I can hear you guys. You're right, in a way. Given that we've still got that Venus love story going on, it's a big new moon. So all of that love stuff that's been coming up. And again, this relationships of any kind, right? I joke because I've got a lot of people who are relationship focused right now in my life. But Libra is the sign of relationships. Venus is there just coming out of that big grand trine. And now we've got new beginnings. So you guys who are stressing, I promise you all, it's going to happen. And it could be, now, obviously not for everyone, but it could be this week with this new moon. So if nothing else, set your intentions, right? I tell you guys sometimes, skip this moon, right? Don't do your intentions this time because they'll go wonky. This is one, grab it. Set the intentions. This is beautiful. And if you're not looking for love kind of thing, you artist, all the Venus things, set those intentions. All right. So it's a great week. I mean, now I always get the people who contact me and go, I had a crappy week, Kate. Yes. Look at your natal chart. If you've got problematic planets, talking to these things that I'm going to be talking about, yeah, yours could skew a different way. But in general, it's a great week. It's great energy. And I know I've been rambling way too much. Let's get into Mercury. So on the 19th, we have two things happening. Mercury is in deep, emotional, powerful, sexy Scorpio. On the 19th, he's making a trine to the north node of destiny, and here, this is really important. He's making an exact conjunction with Mars. That means they are sitting in each other's laps, and they are both making this trine to destiny. So first off, straight out of the gate, what's happening this week? Whatever it is fated. It's destined. This has to do with your karma. Mercury, communication. Mars, assertiveness. This is almost the cliche aspect of speak your mind. No nonsense, no BS. Stuff needs to be said, and you're going to say it. Now, the interesting thing, and I hear you, when Mars is involved, might you be screaming it in somebody's face? You might. You actually might. So take heed here. But it's a trine. So I don't think that this energy is going to be so much like blowing up at somebody. And that kind of thing is not usually so fated North Nodey anyway, right? I mean, it's true. Sometimes we have to explode. But more often than not, when we get this kind of thing, it's really just being assertive. It's like saying what you mean, meaning what you say, delivering the message directly. Mars is not going to be fluffy, right? It's not going to be fluffy. It's not going to beat around the bush. It's like, I got something to say and I'm going to say it. What could this be about? In Scorpio, kind of anything. I mean, that's not so topic specific, but it is deep. It is deep. And Scorpio is fixed water. I call Scorpio the ice princess. It's like the lake, those frozen over lakes that underneath the fish are still swimming around. But if you want to talk to them, because I'm vegan, we don't fish them. If you want to talk to them, you've got to chip through the ice first to get to where they're still happily living their lives. That's how all things Scorpio work. So what this is saying to me is we've had some stuff buried under that ice layer. Mars is hot and fiery. He's a warrior. He's got weapons. He'll chop through that ice, right? And so some buried stuff, some hidden emotions, some words that have needed to be said, but we've been repressing them or whatever. Yeah, that's over. That's over. We are going to have the courage. Mars is courage. We're going to have the courage to speak our minds, Mercury, right? We're going to have the courage to say what we feel, what we've had buried deep inside of us, all of that stuff. We are going to say it because fate says we have to. We need to. These words need to be spoken. Now, consider this also. When fate is involved, we need to say what we need to say, but keep in mind that the other person needs to hear it. There's a reason. Mercury's probably not for most of us just shouting into the void, right? So keep that in mind. But I don't think you're going to need to bolster yourself up. Mars is going to be like, yeah, hey, dude, got to tell you a thing, right? Whether dude is your boss, your lover, your mother, whoever dude's got to hear a thing, okay? North Node is in Pisces. So this may have to do with you want to communicate to somebody how deep your feelings are about them. That works with Scorpio, deep, and Pisces, the ocean. So there's going to be depth to this, but this is really good. It's a trine. It's meant to be. This is going to be really liberating. Think of Mars words, right? This is going to be really liberating to have this conversation or whatever it is. So that first leg of the trine is really a speak your mind kind of thing. Then the other leg of the triangle, the next trine, is Mercury to Jupiter. Jupiter is still exalted in Cancer, so he's very powerful. He's the luckiest, most blessed planet in the sky. And he also does expand things, multiply them, make them bigger. So we're going to be speaking our mind, and there are going to be blessings in doing that. Jupiter's very strong in Cancer. He's going to give that energy of nurturing. So whatever it is we're going to say, even though Mars is involved, this is why I don't think most of us are going to be having shout out fights. Cancer's going to bring that care to what we're talking about. Jupiter's just going to bless the conversation just straight up. Yeah, I just kind of love that. This is also a great energy for all the things like asking for raises, making your pitch to somebody about why they should hire you. Because Cancer has to do with what takes care of us and what nurtures us. So things like our finances, our homes, our security, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, absolutely. Mercury is all about business. So good time to be sending out the resumes, making the phone calls, networking. Oh my gosh, this is a great energy for networking. And with the North Node involved, you will find the people that you are meant to find. This is brilliant for that. But like I said, talking to bosses, if you have proposals, query letters, all of that kind of stuff, write that stuff up and get it out. Mercury's the messenger. Get that stuff written and delivered this week. This is a good week to actually, press send, get it in the mail, go drop it off at the office, whatever it is you need to do. So again, this is everybody. With Cancer involved, this could even have to do with writing out contracts to buy homes, get new apartments, those kind of things. It's really good energy, all right? And then, of course, Jupiter is also trining the North Node, so it makes that beautiful grand trine, unbroken circuit. We've got expansion and luck and fate and karma, and then that conjunction of Mars assertiveness with Mercury, our thoughts, our communication. So what can I say? It is all blessed. It is all flowing. It is all growing. It's meant to be. Wow, right? Now, there's some other stuff coming up. So it doesn't mess up the wow, but it does add some other factors. On the 25th, Mercury is going to be, well, really, this is happening all week, but on the 25th is when it gets bigger. Mercury moves into a trine with Saturn, who's in Pisces. And I know Saturn is the greater malefic and all of that. I don't think so. This is a trine. Saturn's retrograde, so this is about redoing some stuff. And I think what this is really about is adding structure to whatever's been going on all week. So those, especially when we're talking about deals that we've been discussing with other people, plans that we've been discussing, whatever kinds of proposal sort of energy that Mercury, North Node, Jupiter thing's been doing. Saturn at the end of the week is going to bring the structure to it. So at the end of the week, this is going to be the time when we're more likely to really start firming things up. Maybe you've been bouncing around ideas with a business partner, a creative partner, a potential employer, all of that kind of stuff that you've been communicating about. By the end of the week, it's going to be time to let's firm it up. That's what Saturn does. Let's sign the contract. Let's put this stuff in motion, whatever that takes. So know that Saturn is coming into the picture. Saturn will help with the hard work of it. Mars is great with initiation, getting things fired up, getting things started. Mars is not good at all for follow through, but that is exactly what Saturn does. So I really love this, right? So we've got Mars at fire and passion and beginnings and all of that. And then Saturn comes in and it's like, yeah, let's start hammering those nails into place. I love it. Now, another thing is going on this week. So I'm going to step us back a few days, and there's a reason I saved this. It's not bad. It's not bad, I promise, but it's, a thing. On the 21st, Mercury, remember Mercury? I told you this whole week is Mercury. Mercury begins his retrograde shadow. See why I didn't lead with that? If I had started with anything to do with the Mercury retrograde, everybody would have clicked out because it's a bummer. This is not a bummer. We're not even in the Mercury retrograde yet, but he does begin his shadow. So what does that mean? He's going directly, he's moving forward over degrees that during his retrograde, he's going to revisit. So do know that there is going to be some adjusting going on. The stuff that you're thinking, saying, putting in motion, the contracts you're signing, all of that stuff, you are going to come back. You're going to revise, rethink, edit, all of those kinds of redoing Mercury stuff. I know, right? We do not want to hear it. I just made this big deal out of all of this crazy good stuff that we're going to set in motion and all of that. Now we find out we're going to come back and do a redo. Do a redo? You get what I'm saying. And yeah, that's true. But this stuff is very blessed. And with the North Node involved, I really do think we're just talking about editing. I hear you. When does it actually station retrograde? That's going to be on November 9th. I actually love this week quite a lot. We've still got a lot of Venus energy going on. A lot of this communication is going to have to do with relationships because it's happening at the same time as all this Venus stuff in Libra. I'm loving it a whole lot. So I hope you do too. Sorry I forgot to say this all at the front end, but thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. Right now, especially, I would be super grateful if you would share the podcast and go in and leave some positive reviews and things like that. I really need your help. So until next week, go out and seize the energies of the stars. This is my wish for you always, and I will catch you on the other end. Bye.